Imagine a country where Netflix is not just entertainment, it's basically national GDP. A place so tiny that if you blink on Google Maps, you might miss it. Welcome to Tuvalu, the nation you probably did not know existed, but definitely watched through their .tv domains. Tuvalu is a Pacific island country located about halfway between Hawaii and Australia. Just 26 kilometers off land, smaller than many airports. Population is around 11,000 people, making it one of the world's least populated nations. Capital is Footy, a thin strip of land barely above sea level. Tuvalu is also the fourth smallest country by land area after Vatican, Monaco, and Nauru. For centuries, Tuvalu survived through fishing, subsistence, farming, and community life. But in the modern global economy, well, you will see it gets creative. Basically, Tuvalu is like that kid in the class who does not do homework but still gets A+ because he knows the Wi-Fi password. So now here is something interesting. What is government revenue for Tuvalu? The weirdest economy. So how does Tuvalu keep its economy running? It does not have big industries, no massive tourism, and no oil fields. Instead, Tuvalu earns money in some of the most unusual ways. And the number one in this is .tv domain. The internet country called .tv belongs to Tuvalu because TV screams video and streaming. Tuvalu leases rights to companies like VeriSign. This brings in about 8 to 12% of government revenue, around 10% of GDP. Famous sites like Twitch.tv and MLB.tv indirectly pay rent to Tuvalu. And what is number two? For them is fishing license. Tuvalu's exclusive economic zone spans 750,000 square kilometers of ocean. So what does it do? It sells licenses to foreign fishing fleets, which brings in about 40 to 50% of government revenue. So what does it do? Selling licenses to foreign fishing fleets, bringing in about 40 to 50% of government revenue. Tuna is the real gold mine here. And third source of revenue is foreign aids and grants. So Tuvalu gets 20-25% of revenue from aid, especially from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and the EU. Much of this goes into infrastructure and climate adaptation. Fourth source of fund is Tuvalu Trust Fund, created in 1987 with donations from Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and others. Investment returns provide 10 to 15% revenue, stabilizing the budget of the country. Remittances and small tourism. Tuvaluans working overseas send money back. Tourism is tiny, fewer than 3,000 visitors per year. Imagine explaining your country's economy. Yeah, our budget depends on tuna, Twitch, and Australia's charity. That's not a finance class, that's a comedy show. There is one very important concern about Tuvalu, which is global warming, which is Tuvalu's survival crisis. But Tuvalu's biggest story is not its quirky revenue, it's its survival. Tuvalu is among the most climate vulnerable nations in the world. The islands are only 1 to 2 meters above sea level. By 2050, half of the capital island, Funafuti, could be underwater or flooded regularly. NASA projects high tide flooding could increase fivefold by 2050s. Saltwater intrusion is already damaging crops and freshwater supplies. By 2100, if sea levels rise 1 meter, Tuvalu could lose 90% of its land. In short, Tuvalu might disappear from the map within this century. Tuvalu's government has even recorded a speech for COP26, standing knee-deep in sea water to show the world how real the threat is. Other countries worry about building skyscrapers. Tuvalu worries about building snorkels. So what does Tuvalu do to tackle this? Tuvalu and Australia, there is a migration deal. Facing this threat, Tuvalu has started making backup plans. In November 2023, Tuvalu signed a landmark migration agreement with Australia called the Philippine Union. Australia agreed to provide special visas to up to 280 Tuvaluans per year, about 2% of the population annually. This ensures Tuvaluans can relocate with dignity if their island becomes uninhabitable. The deal also covers defense and climate aid, making Australia Tuvalu's closest partner. This is one of the world's first official climate migration arrangements, a blueprint for what might happen to other small island nations. So let us look at Australia. Meanwhile, Australians complain about too many tourists. Tuvalu's literally booking the permanent tickets to Australia. So amid all the changes which are happening, how does Tuvalu plan to keep their culture identity and what is their future? But Tuvalu is not just giving up, it's fighting to preserve its identity and culture even if the land sinks. So there is a digital nation project. In 2021, Tuvalu announced it would create a digital twin of the country in the metaverse. The idea, if the land disappears, Tuvalu will still exist as a recognized digital nation, keeping sovereignty, culture and history alive. Education and diaspora. Tuvaluans abroad are encouraged to teach language and traditions to younger generations. Music, dance and oral storytelling remain central to identity. And the global advocacy. Tuvalu is a loud voice in climate summits, pressuring larger polluting nations to cut emissions. Their motto, if Tuvalu disappears, so could you. So what do many countries dream of? Some countries dream of colonizing Mars. But what about Tuvalu? They just want to survive the Pacific. Honestly, Elon Musk should buy a .tv domain before he buys Mars.